Everybody says so. This is the new normal.
You know what I loved about Greenland? Everything this isn't. It was no masterpiece, but it was a unique take on the apocalyptic genre, focusing on family opposed to destruction, what it really means to be human, I guess. And this is really a bad excuse to make a sequel. It shouldn't have been in a theater. In theory, following up an apocalyptic movie isn't the easiest task, because you're probably not gonna top that. It's kinda like Prison Break, not the same topic, but you're never gonna outdo the first season. And Greenland 2 Migration is literally just the family migrating to this crater where stuff grows. How am I gonna get a video out of this? I don't personally know anybody who wanted a Greenland sequel. I don't know too many people who really loved the original, but like I said, it had its merits. It wasn't the deepest thing, but for an apocalyptic movie, it wasn't the same either. This is the bare minimum of what you get out of a family traveling through a desolated world. Characters who show up and die in the same scene without any interesting traits, the guy they meet along the way who's actually helpful. Every apocalyptic story has this, and speaking of interesting, this family isn't. Gerard Butler adds nothing new to John Garrity. His wife and kids don't go beyond the bare minimum. At the beginning, they're in this bunker, and at one point their son wanders outside without permission, and you think, okay, here we go, the family cliches. And even though that's not a new thing, and the fact that we don't get that should be a positive, the only reason we don't get it is because we don't really get anything. There's honestly no drama between any of them. It's kind of remarkable. I would accept that as a breath of fresh air if they fucking did something. Now, there is one twist thrown in before the halfway point involving John Garrity, which by default does shake things up, but only in a bare minimum way. In a real life scenario, it wouldn't, but in this case they decide to ignore it for the time being, until another twist at the end renders that irrelevant. It's not really a twist at the end, more so what happens, but you get the idea. None of it matters. It's honestly remarkable how little any of it matters. If you're sick to death of the family drama in these kinds of movies, you may get something out of this, but it really is just a lack of any effort. Nathan, his son, seems to have some interest in astronomy, but that affects like one or two scenes, and by effects, I mean, it's brought up. And even though the first movie didn't have much of this either, it didn't really matter because they spent most of it separated. You didn't need it in that movie, there were other interesting things happening. One of the things they could have done is world building, not just mandatory stuff, real world building, like at the beginning in the bunker, or the places they go throughout the movie, like this one city that's underwater. If they spent more time in these places and really got into it, I could overlook the family not being that interesting. Instead,
they couldn't do it!
Very little time is spent in the bunker. It's just to establish it's not fun living underground. And a few people of interest do go along with them, but not for that long. Like I said, nobody is fleshed out. Anybody new they meet is gone immediately. And the reason it's so damn boring is because they rush everything. More than half the movie is they get to a new place, somebody new comes in, they don't last that long because disaster strikes, rinse and repeat. No development, nothing interesting, it's all the movie is. And it's too bad because with the setting of the first movie established, you could have done something with it. You could have fleshed this out and given us a film that isn't, let's just keep going and see what happens. That's why I justify complaining about it, I almost didn't. You have something that didn't need a sequel that was good how it is. For some reason they made it anyway, and technically, it could have been worth something. Instead, it's the opposite of what made part 1 good. Rushed dialogue, rushed pacing, nothing to latch onto. It's just one disaster after another. As in the events in the movie and the quality of the movie, you get the idea, but I am going to interrupt this video toward the end to remind you about the main channel. Content on movies that aren't brand new, and as for the gaming channel, that is going to resume soon. And not yet, but soon. You'll find the links in the description. Anyway, that's about it. They produced a sequel for 3 times the budget because it's the way it is. Obviously not a complete disaster, but aside from one climactic scene, if you've seen the trailer you know what it is, we have a sleep-inducing movie. Nothing unexpected, no attempt to invoke any emotion. Black Phone 2 was a we didn't need this sequel. This is a why would you make this sequel?
And you wasted my time!
Oddly enough, the first movie didn't really have a theatrical release due to the pandemic, and this one shouldn't have either. Don't waste time seeing this, but if you do, let me know what you thought about Greenland 2 down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe down below, share it if you can, and hit the bell to get notified because recommendations are about as reliable as the sequel. I'm the cinema analyst because, somebody has to be.